Took some overtime to get the time right. Had to lose a little mind to get my mind right. Finally realized, but in hindsight, you wanted the limelight. Me priority never once. You kept close but never really wasn't. I accept your lack of focus, agree with all your choices. Needed you to need me, needed you to see me. Until I found the right direction, I think my reflection would agree. Had to find a me in me.
The Short Sport by King David Jordan.
Everybody talking about they the best. Everybody talking about us. B.I.G. walking the God we trust. As long as our names is in the book, we good. Show me the list. Everybody talking about they the best. They the best, yes. Everybody talking about us. B.I.G. walking the God we trust. As long as our names is in the book, we good.
I hope you guys know what's going to happen today. It's going to be a crazy show today. Bo's here. Bo's going to be here. I think we got a special guest coming in today. And it's going to be cool today. Man, we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs. What happened to Detroit? What happened to Lamar? Oh, my God. And we'll talk also about the Patty Mac effect. Talk about Atlanta Falcons hired a head coach. And Deion Sanders words, get over the music. Show me the list. Everybody talk about they the best.
Everybody talking about us. B.I.G. walking the God we trust. As long as our names is in the book, we good. Show me the list. Everybody talking about they the best. They the best, yes. Everybody talking about us. B.I.G. walking the God we trust. As long as our names is in the book, we good.
phenomenal show. We got a lot to talk about coming up. Detroit. Detroit does Detroit things. Lamar tripping. Lamar lets us all down. Lets us all down. Atlanta hires a new coach. We're going to talk about the Falcons. Really good people. The Falcons are good people. You know what I'm saying? Good. I like those. Good people. Not the smartest fans in the world, but good people. And the phone lines are already hitting. They already like popping off, right? They already popping off. Well, we got to start telling the folks, hey, you got to give us a little time to get your intros, get everything in. Then we open up the lines. Then you get talking, get the lines after we do our intros and stuff, right? You got to let them know, Bo. You got to know. But listen, man, we're glad you guys are joining us today. It's going to be a fantastic show, a different show today. I think we're supposed to have a special guest come on. It's supposed to be a crazy show. Listen, man, welcome to the King Bo Show. It's going to be fun. I'm your host, King Joe. King Bo Show is here. Welcome. I'm coming up your face. Wait a minute. I won't keep going. I'm glad everybody's here. Yeah, I know Bo's in the building. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into, a lot to talk about, a lot to deal with today. And what we're going to have going on, Bo's getting ready Let's go ahead, Bo. Let's see if we get
Bring my phone, man.
He's there breaking his phone, man. Bo, what's up, man?
King, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? I see you got that fresh cut this week. How's everything going?
It's going good. You know, the ladies are loving it. The ladies are like, oh, well, hey, the ladies are like, oh, I got to get my chair. The ladies are like, oh, King, what you got going? Oh, you're looking nice, King. That's like, okay. I said, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's all good. You know, I got that fresh cut going on myself.
You know, you keep listen now, Bo. You keep it smooth now. You keep. I pay attention to you. You keep it smooth. You keep it smooth. You got the MJ down pat. You know what I'm saying? We got it the MJ where I'm from, and you definitely got it down pat. And we appreciate everything that's going on, man. How you been? How was your weekend and everything?
Oh man, weekend was good. A lot of rest, a lot of watching football, throwing the football with my son, exercising with him in the gym, getting everything squared away for his take as far as what level he want to go on to. Relaxing, me and the wife catching up on a couple of shows. Other than that, man, just relaxing this weekend and enjoying this weekend.
Man, it's good to hear, man. Did you enjoy some football this weekend, my brother?
Man, I enjoyed some real good football games. Some football games where I felt like, you know, a couple of questionable calls from the sidelines. But, hey, things happen. But, yeah, overall, sat down and enjoyed some good football. Had some great meals in front of me and got a lot of good rest.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Glad to hear it, man. Glad to have you on the show tonight. The King Bo Show is going on tonight. Right now, we already up popping. And the phone lines has already been working. They've been off the hook. People have been waiting to see what's gonna go on off the hook with the phone lines already for the show tonight, man. And I'm really excited. I know we might have a special guest calling in to co-host the show with the special guests to come in. But let's go ahead and get into it, Bo, if we can. We got a situation that's going on here where the first topic, the NFL playoffs. NFL playoffs is wild. It was mad interesting. Now, let me ask you a question, Bo. Like, how you feel about it so far? How you feel about the playoffs this year so far? Like, others' opinion. Now, both our teams have gotten eliminated. The Cowboys, the Dolphins, both eliminated. How do you feel about what's going on right now? How did you feel about the playoffs? And then we get into more of how you feel about this weekend's matchups between Kansas City and Baltimore and Detroit and San Francisco. How do you, as a whole, summarize it as a whole, how have you felt about the playoffs this year?
Well, open and honestly, I feel that the playoffs have been somewhat exciting, but I feel like the referees have made some very questionable calls too. I mean, some questionable calls that have caused some teams to either extend or some teams to hold on to a lead late in a ball game.
I got you. And I agree with that. I think, like, at the end of the day, the referees have played a very big part. And I think we're starting to see this not only in football, but it's really bad in basketball also. So the association and the referees and the players are having a big hissy fit, almost as bad as the Atlanta rappers and the Atlanta DJs. But we're talking about it another time. But, you know, it's crazy. I think it's been an interesting playoff game, even though the teams that I kind of rooted for and wanted to win are all out. I still think it's been a super interesting playoff game, and it gives us a lot to talk about. Speaking of things to talk about, we'll start tonight with what happened in Detroit. Detroit Lions are defeated. They get beat down this weekend against the San Francisco 49ers, who punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. And they lost 34-31. Bo, what did you see? What did you notice in this game? How do you feel about this game? I have a lot to say about this game, but how do you feel about this game?
I sat down, King, and I watched this game. But, overall, though, looking at the game from a perspective of a fan, the Detroit Lions came to play. I will give them that. They absolutely came to play and jumped out 24-7 first time they touched the football in the first possession, went straight down the field and scored a touchdown. Jameson Williams in the round, I think it was 41 or 42 yards. However, that set the tone. Basically, hey, we can move the ball, we can score on them. They dominated the first half, 24-7, and then they got into the third quarter, and that's when the debacle started, when they decided not to go for field goals on 4th and 2, somewhere around the 30-yard line on both of them. I think one was like a 49-yard attempt, and the other one may have been a 43 or 45-yard attempt. However, They chose not to go that route, and the running back coughed up the ball down there inside their own 40 one time, and that cost them big time in the ball game down the stretch, changed the momentum drastically to the San Francisco 49ers. One thing I will say about the 49ers, they persevered, but they are a football team that has not impressed me. I think home field advantage has really, really helped them out, because if they had to go on the road throughout this year, Amid, it definitely would be a home study for them. Somebody else would be in the playoff if they had to play outside of Santa Clara. I believe they would actually be at the house by now. But to their credit, hey, they've weathered the storm. They've earned the right to be there. And, hey, we'll see what happens next Sunday over there in Arizona. It's going to be very interesting. I'm sorry, in Las Vegas, it's going to be very interesting to see how this turns out. Very interesting, because they're playing against a team that they've already lost the Super Bowl to within the past couple of years. So I don't know how they're going to take that, how they're going to come out and play. But overall, though, I think Detroit was the better football team. San Francisco's there. How they got there still surprises me sometimes, because I felt like they should have lost the Green Bay game. But, hey, they're there. And we'll see how it goes. But overall, though, I think there were some chances that Detroit could have won the game, but I think they actually moved the pendulum and swayed the seesaw and lost their momentum in that game.
Well, I think at the end of the day, when you see exactly what happened and what transpired in that game, I'm always a advent of getting the points, right? Go ahead and get the points, and not going for it and not taking the field goal, it ends up costing you in the long run. And I'm always for getting the point. And I think I saw Deion Sanders a couple of times during the year in the games that they won where he took the points. And there's a couple times where I was like, hey man, kick the field goal. I mean, I think you should go for it. You're down by 20-something points, you should go for it. But I think the issue with a lot of people, the issue that a lot of people have is that you leave points off the board, right? You don't get the points when you don't take the field goal, and you go for it a couple of times, and you put your team in a position now where they need the points. And now, if you had the points, we may be talking overtime and possibly a Lions win rather than a Kansas City going to another Super Bowl. I think that's always for me a big issue in not only the downfall of the classic. This is one of the times when we talk about Detroit and them falling off. This is one of the classic. This is almost not quite 28-3 Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It's almost not quite. This is almost 28-3 Atlanta. Not quite 28-3, but this is almost 28-3 Atlanta. Not quite 28-3, but this is almost 28-3 Atlanta. This is a classic falter. This is a classic meltdown. And the more you saw the more the game went on, the more you start seeing, okay, San Francisco has a shot to win this game. When I first watched it, I was like, man, I'll be honest with you, man. I was getting ready to go sleep. I was dozing off. I was like, man, Detroit is out physical to them. Detroit's out here. They're determined. And then, kind of like the Falcons, the curse of the Lions show up, and then they are who we thought they are. They were, you know what I'm saying? And they lose that game. What you think about?
Well, a couple of things, a couple of takes from that. Number one, you're exactly right. You do not leave those points out there. You have an opportunity to go up by 2 possessions if you kick the field goal. However, he chose not to, went for it on 4th and 2. The wide receiver did drop the pass on that one. He could have caught that ball, but right. I wouldn't put that in the wide receiver possession. I wouldn't put that on his shoulders. I would kick that field. You got a kicker on the team. Hey, he has no business being this far on the team if he can't make a 49-yarder this deep into the playoffs. It's just that simple, because a kicker could come off the street and try out for a football team and kick a 50-yarder in a playoff game. The problem is that Dan Campbell played Riverboat and he lost. Right. But also, if you look at it too, King, based on history from a debacle standpoint, this is the worst that has ever happened to a team in a conference championship game. They've never lost a game up by 17. This is the first time ever. So this is somewhat similar to the Atlanta debacle. Maybe not as bad, but it's the next thing to it. And at the end of the day, once you look as a Lion fan, a team who's never played in a Super Bowl and a team trying to get there who was right on the cusp, if you don't ever get this far again, you're going to look back at that and say, we could have been there. We just made a couple of calls that cost us down the stretch.
I think at the end of the day, when you have a blunder such as what Dan Campbell provided, I think you have to be very, very careful. But at the same time, we could critique him, But this type of aggressiveness is what got them there to begin with. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's changed his character. He didn't change his stripes. Dan Campbell's been doing this all year. You know what I'm saying? And it's worked out for him all year. He's been, hey, we're going for it. We're going. If you go back to the Dallas Cowboy game, you know, I'm really familiar with that. Been a Cowboys fan. Man, it didn't matter how far the 2-point conversion was. He had in his mind, I'm going for it for 2 points, and he was gonna go for it for 2 points. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to act like he hadn't been doing this all. He's been doing this all year, bro.
Oh yeah, he's leading the NFL in going for it on 4th downs. Most definitely, it's just something that they're accustomed to doing. But at the same time, you got to play smart. I mean, at the end of the day, I understand his logic because it's something that he believes in, and the team is already prepared for it because it's substantial for them, something they've been covering from a consistency throughout the year. But also, you're on the road, NFC Championship game, an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. Hey, you gotta be smart because at one point in time, you gotta sit back and say, hey, I keep the field goal, we go up 10. I don't, the team go down there and score, we got a tie ball game and we're in their stadium. So I understand that he's been going for it on 4th down throughout the year. Hey, and that's a good thing. He's building morale. The team believes in him and it has his back. But somewhere there, you gotta say, hey, I'm not gonna put myself in that situation to fail when I can absolutely win just by playing it smart. Guys, this time we take the points. And we live to see another day. But he chose not to do so, and they're in a situation where they are.
And they're at home with the rest of us. With the rest of us down at home, they're at home with the rest of us chilling. I think that at the end of the day, this was an amazing. I think he even said it in his press conference. May not get another shot at this. You know what I'm saying? This is amazing. This was an amazing opportunity, and they had it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel. I give Atlanta a hard time. I give Atlanta Falcons fans a hard. I give Atlanta Falcons fans good people, Bo. They're really good people. Atlanta Falcons fans are really, really good people. Not the smartest people in the world, but they're really, really good people. Not the smartest fans in the world. Now, they're smart people, but not the smartest fan, bro, because they think more with their head than with their heart. But they're good people. Very, very good people. Atlanta Falcons fans are very, very good people. And we got the phone lines. Let's see if we get the phone lines up here going real quick and see if we can get this working. We'll go to the phone line, see what we have here on the lines that's calling in. Hold on 1 second. Yes. Hold on, Rock. Let me get you on the show real quick, Rock. We got Rock calling in early today, bro. He in there early today. Hold
Rock,
on.
what's up, buddy?
Yeah. Hold on, Rock, so we can get you situated in here real quick. I'm not hearing Rock through the system. All right, Rock, you there? Rocky, you there?
I'm here, sir.
Can you hear me? Can you hear him, Bo?
Yeah, what's up, Rock? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Good.
Hey, man, it's good to hear from you, brother.
It's cold out there, way.
Rock, what's the weather out there in Utah right now?
Right now it's about 45.
Oh, that's about the same here in the low 30s.
It's cold.
Right, shout out to Rock. The phone lines are open. You guys can call the phone lines. The phone lines are open. It's 478-569-6110. Rock, we're talking about the epic collapse of the Detroit Lions and how their coach took some chances, and it probably ended up costing them a chance at the Super Bowl. How do you feel about that, Rock?
You won't never go back. You won't never go back because
Go ahead, Bo.
Rock, I got a question for you about that game. You're Dan Campbell. You're standing on the sidelines. The Detroit Lions, that's your football team. You're the head coach. Do you go for it on 4th down both times? Do you kick 1 field goal? Or do you kick 2 field goals with those opportunities within 50 yards?
Say that again, Rob. We could clear up a little bit. Maybe move your microphone away from the microphone a little bit so we can hear you a little bit more clear.
I'm trying points all the way around. I'm getting 3 all the way around.
So you're trying to...
If you get both of them 3, get what? At the end of the day. At the end of the day now. You lost by 3. If you got both of them 3, and took 4 and you win by 2.
Hey,
Still, it came down to that.
How you feel? Go ahead. He said, you heard what he said, Bo. How you feel about that?
I gotta agree with him because at the end of the day, I felt like Detroit from the onset. If you take a look at our picks last week, King, I chose San Francisco to win that game, but I chose it simply because I felt like Detroit's secondary was not going to be there. I felt like they was going to be slacking, and that that San Francisco would probably win by 10. But Detroit come out of the game and they was up by 17. So
right.
In a surprise move like that, if you're a Detroit head coach, the first thing you say, hey, we're playing very well. We're playing very well. Keep the momentum going. I'm going to go get every single point that I can get. I've got 24. I can get 27. I can get 30. Then they scored another touchdown. But at the end of the day, keep the momentum going. Because if a field goal kicker goes out there and he misses the field goal, then you lose momentum. But I'm not going to allow that to happen by going for it on 4th and 2. I'm going to give that kicker a chance because if he hit it, then you're up 2 possessions with halfway to go in the third quarter, and you're moving the football up and down the field. You got to take the points on that one, on both of them actually. You know what? I will say this:
on both of them.
A smart man, even if he went for it on 4th and 2 the first time and didn't get it, a smart man the second time you gonna go for the points.
Well, listen, we got a Brandon Mack on from Facebook in the comments said there's a time and a place for it. A chance to go to the Super Bowl is not that time and place. So a lot of people are agreeing with you guys that you take the points and maybe not be as aggressive. Shout out to Brandon Mack from watching the show, man. Thank you, Brandon, for watching the show, man, and chiming in. You guys can chime in. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can hit us up on YouTube. You can hit us up on X. And also you can call in at 478-569-6110. That phone number again is 478-569-6110. Right now we got The Rock. You know what I'm saying? Can you smell what The Rock is? I promise you, Rock. You know, Rock. I'm going to put that audio in the sample for every time you call. I'm gonna put that audio in the sample. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? But Rock, Detroit loses. Do you think they're gonna have an opportunity to get there again?
They can, but your coach got to go if he's gonna keep doing that.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Rock.
Bye.
Let me ask you this right here, Rock. Well, first of all, I want to get a shout out to Brandon Mack. King Jordan, that's my bloodline. That's my cousin calling in, checking in on the show. So, Brandon, thank you for checking in, cuz. I hope everything is well with you and the family out there. Appreciate you chiming in. Rock, let me ask you this. And this is significant to the Washington, D.C. area with the timeline with the Detroit Lions. So, the Washington Commanders actually, from my understanding, unspokenly had an opportunity for a head coach's position with the offensive coordinator for Detroit if he wanted it. I think his name is Ben Johnson. However, he declined and decided to stay with Detroit. But they said the job was his up here with the Commanders if he wanted it. However, with him going back, do you think that catapults them to an opportunity to play in the NFC Championship game? Because Detroit is smelling success, something they've never done before. So don't be surprised if they revamp their football team and actually add more pieces to the puzzle. I think, Rock, they got a good chance to be a good football team next year. But I'm going to say this also. Green Bay and the Bears are peaking. They're beginning to climb and they're beginning to thrive. And I think those teams are going to be very competitive in the NFC North with them as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's 50-50 for me, but at the end of the day, that this weekend just passed, you was greedy. I mean, you was too greedy. You had it in your hand for one, you're up 17. Yeah, you're up 17. Keep doing what you doing throughout the first half. In the second, mash the gas, put the foot on the neck, and choke him back. But you laid up. But then, too, at the end of the day, too, now, the referee played a part, but you can't blame it on Reynolds number 8. But at the end of the day, you still got to look at his situation. Why? I mean, you dropped him. You dropped him.
I'm a big fan of body language. I'm a real big fan of body language. I saw that game in the fourth quarter, and they kept putting the camera on Dan Campbell. Let's go inside of the light spectrums real quick, guys. They kept putting that camera on Dan Campbell. And honestly, you could look at his body language, his facial expression had totally changed in the fourth quarter of that game. And you can tell that he probably was saying to himself, I should have took the points. He somewhat had a guilty look on his face throughout the fourth quarter of that game. I felt sorry for him the way how he was looking out there in the fourth quarter. Actually, I felt like he realized that he knew he should have took those points because he looked totally different facial expression in the fourth quarter than he did the second quarter.
Well, I think at the end of the day, when you're sitting there, you're watching it, and you're seeing it unfold, I think also, too, you had such momentum. You were up, up at halftime by 20-something points, 17 points. You were up, you were doing it, you had so much momentum, and you just needed something positive, something good to go on. And he probably had a good feeling that, hey, we can make this happen and this game is over. And I think he's looking at it and saying, hey, we could put a nail in the coffin in this game if we get points, if we get a touchdown here. And it's just a bad decision. Go ahead, Rod.
Excuse me, King.
Yes, sir.
You was up 24-10, right?
Yes, sir.
No.
14.
24-7.
No. Hold on, bro. You was up 24-10. And what, about maybe 6, maybe 7 minutes in the third quarter?
7:03 to go in the fourth quarter. 7:02 to go in the fourth quarter. The score was 24-7.
Right. No, look, for what I seen, I didn't see the whole game off and I seen it off and on, but to my knowledge, you was up 24-10. And you went for a 42, 43. And if you would kick the 3, you'd have been up 17. I don't know for a fact. You would have been up 17. You get them 3. See, now I'm desperate. I'm really desperate. So now I didn't get them 3. Then a play or 2 later, they went deep, and the ball bounced off the dude's helmet or whatnot. He called it, and then the next play, they scored. And then when they kicked up Detroit, and then the very next play, they fumbled, and then they still scored again. So if you got that 3, that would have sold the air out of San Francisco. Yeah.
So I get
Detroit would have went up 17.
Right. You talk. It's a 3-score. If you get the 3, it's a 3-score game, right? You got to score 3 times to come back and win the game. I get what you're saying. Definitely.
Hey, Rod. I'm gonna add something else to that element too that we haven't thought about, but I'm quite sure Detroit's defensive coordinator thought about it. If you kick that field goal and the field goal is successful, now Detroit defense could pretty much dictate what San Francisco offense does because you already know that they've got to throw the ball 5 out of 6 plays to get back into that ball game, so you know how to put your defense in position.
I'll rest my case.
And that's a good point. That's a good point.
So see now, when you got 3 on me now, I'm desperate. I'm desperate. Now, on the front of putting in there.
And that gives
myself personally no. But me, myself personally no. I would have chopped your neck off before you even got on that plane, man. Because you called me.
Well, what it would have done, it would have cost Detroit's defensive line and secondary to basically get into certain coverages where they could have played like not a prevent, but a cover 2 or a cover 3 zone, and they could have been more aggressive with trying to get an interception because they could have tried to jump a route because they know San Francisco got to throw the football. But now you allow them to go down there and chump and just bite into the ball game. Now they can mix the run and the pass, and then you don't know whether or not McCaffrey's going to take a handoff or whether or not they're going to try to throw slants to Ayuk or do end the rounds to Debo or hit Kittle on a post. So all of those things could have taken place if they scored a touchdown, which San Francisco did. But if they don't score the touchdown, then you're Detroit, you go to a cover 3, and then you just start picking people off and say, hey, look, we got interceptions coming our way. We know they got to throw the ball, so we don't have to worry about the run. They're one-dimensional.
Right. See, that's why I say, that's why I say your HC, he cost you that game, man. He showed this. You gotta get points.
I got a question for you, King. Tell me how you think about this one. King, tell me how you think about how do you feel about this? Dan Campbell has revived the NFL. The Detroit Lions is one of few teams, not many, in the NFL that has a female owner. So they've had a lot of success this year based on expectations from the preseason and now. And the Detroit Lions has come out of nowhere. They were decent last year. I mean, they were subpar 500, but now, this is a team that went to the NFC Championship game. A couple of changeable calls could have landed them into the Super Bowl. So my question about Dan Campbell is this. If Detroit falters next year, because Green Bay is going to be there, trust me, they're young, they're hungry, and they're a very physical football team. They match up well against Detroit, and the Bears are up and coming. If Detroit hits back around the subpar 500 next year, because I'm going to be honest to you guys, sometimes this type of deflation of a football team allows football team not to have the mental toughness to rise to the occasion in the next following year based on the acts and things that happen. So if Detroit hits around 500 next year, guys, where does Dan Campbell stand in 25-26? Will he be on the hot seat if they go subpar 500 next year? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Bob. I'll let you go first.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
On tonight. That's 1,000. Most definitely. That's nothing really to, really to explain, to talk about. Yeah, hot seat, automatic, because this season right here, you cost me. I mean, you had it in your hand, and that's just like how the 49ers played in the Super Bowl about 3 or 4 years ago. They had the same way. Then they had the same way. 49ers will win with 10, 11 points, something like that, and blow it. But this year, 49ers are going to win by 10.
So you like the 49ers? I'm going to sit back and wait. I'm not going to say anything.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. You got 49ers winning by 10?
By 10. Hold on. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay, I got to hear this.
49ers going to win by 10. Ain't going no less than 8. They don't do double digits. Ain't going to no less than 8. Their defense going to come to play. Even though they struggle, throughout the playoffs, the defense has, they're going to win by 10. Because me, myself personally, really don't. The Rams is with the homeboy. But they defense don't struggle for the homeboy. They did. I'm going to put it on that thing. Remember I told you this, but I can see him 150 yards or better rushing in the Super Bowl. Yeah, rushing. If not, total yards, I give him 200. Total, combined. Okay. Yeah.
What you got, Bo?
I can see that.
Hey, Rock,
Hold on.
I got to chime in.
Okay. All right. About the Dan Campbell thing. I think it buys him some time, right? I think he has some time. I like this team, though. This team is physical. They're built. They remind me of San Francisco, how San Francisco was last year. Almost there. They're physical. They got a great young running back that's a stud. He's a stud. Great pass receivers, a good, solid defense. I like this team to be there. And the conference that they're playing in is with Arizona and Minnesota and everything. It's not like Chicago. Right. It's not like it's a strong conference. Now, I see Chicago being better and Arizona possibly being better with Kyler Murray coming back next year. So it's going to be a little bit more competitive. But there's no reason to think that it will be a lull next year. I think, if anything, hopefully, especially for my people in Detroit, man. Because, we make, Black people, African-American community make up a large segment of Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And it felt good that no, I'm not from Detroit, but I'm familiar with the area. You know what I'm saying? So, and they have been faithful. They love their Lions dearly, and for the people, man, I want them to experience some success. Even when my Cowboys went out and when Detroit made it to this round, I was hoping Detroit win just so the city could have that, just so the city can receive that. Not necessarily win. I wanted Lamar to win the championship if Dallas didn't win. We talk about that in a second. But I wanted the city to feel that because
man.
Falcons, huh?
You sound like your Falcons.
I am not a Falcons. Hey, listen, I am not a Falcons fan. Falcon fans are good people. Good people.
Oh,
good
man.
People. but that's a diss on Rock the Cowboys. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm talking about Cowboys to the core. You don't see that blue on Rock? You see that blue on? I got that blue on Rock. It's Cowboys.
Hey, King, he's a Cowboy fan too.
Go ahead.
Cowboy fan, but the owner, he's on that sideline, man.
Hey, hey, we can talk about Cowboys for a whole show, Rock. Trust me. And I knew you was a good man when I heard you. I knew you was a good man for the Cowboys. I knew you was a good man. I knew he was a good man in there.
Yeah.
But man, listen, I have not been a Falcons fan since the quarterback got caught fighting dogs and the safety was out the night before Super Bowl. The safety was out the night before Super Bowl, trying to get with some girls in Chocolate City, and then get a ball. And they get a circle ball thrown in his head in the first quarter. I said, you know what? This team is curious. I can't ride with them. You cannot ride with them.
I'm glad we still own football, but so we changed to the.
Okay.
Why didn't you get Bill Belichick in the A?
All right, so we're gonna change. You ready? You wanna go here? Why we didn't get Bill? Hey, Bo, go ahead. Why did they get Bill Belichick today?
It's a couple of reasons why.
Rock. Listen. I want you to listen. You gotta want to listen to the show. Yeah, you got. All right. I want you to call back in. We're gonna talk about that in 2 segments. We're gonna go talk about the. We're gonna talk about Lamar real quick. What you think about the Ravens before we let you go? And then we're gonna open up the line, Scott. I think some other calls try to get in. What you think about Lamar and the Ravens real quick?
I can't hear him, King. What'd he say?
They trash.
You heard him there, Bo?
Yeah, I heard him.
Trash. They trash. He had his chance now. He had his chance last weekend. He ain't going back there again now. No, I promise you that.
Oh wow.
Not in Baltimore, he won't.
Oh wow.
Not in Baltimore, he won't.
I got you, Bo. He said trash. All right, Bo, man. We appreciate you, man. Hey, we're gonna open up the phone lines, bro. Again, we thank you for calling in. Listen up. We're gonna talk about the Falcons in 1 second. We want to bring that question back up so we get a chance to call back in, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you, bro. Hey, the Rock was
Tony,
on there.
call in, man. Call into the show, big dog.
All right, the Rock. Okay,
Hold
on. Go ahead and give it to her. I got your beauty, Bo. So at the end of the day, it's Detroit is. But let's go to the next subject. We gotta get to the next subject because we gotta get out of this certain time today. The next subject that goes on, the other playoff game on the other side. Tough game. Tough game. The other playoff game goes to the side, and we want to talk about what happened with none other than Baltimore. And I tried to, we rooted for Lamar. We rooted for Lamar. We rooted for Lamar, and we legitimately wanted Lamar to be on point, and we want Lamar to kind of come in and do his thing, right? We rooted for them, and we want Lamar to come in and do his thing. And we got somebody on the phone line we're gonna talk about. But the Chiefs prevail and beat Baltimore. The Chiefs prevail and beat Baltimore. And I want to know, Bo, bro, what you think about that? The Chiefs prevailing and beating Baltimore there. Bo, you with me? You want to all right, he's trying to get something. I got another caller on the line. We're gonna go to the caller real quick. Caller, you there? Caller, you there? Hello, caller, you there?
What's going on, fella?
Hey, what's going on? Who am I speaking to?
It's Antonio, man.
Antonio, what's up, buddy?
Street, what's up, what?
Man, I've been under the weather a little bit, so I've been missing y'all.
Antonio,
How you
what's
feeling,
up,
man?
my brother, man? It's good to hear from you, man.
How you feeling, brother?
Yeah, man. How about them Cowboys?
Tony, I almost hung up the phone on you there, brother. I almost hung up the phone. I'm happy to hear from you, but I almost hung up the phone on you, Tony. That hurt my feelings there. You hurt me. You just throw a shot at me like that. You hurt my feelings, bro.
Hey, I got one more. I got over too.
Hey, Tonyo. Hey, Tonyo, I got a quick question. Did you get a chance to watch some of the football games that occurred this weekend, the NFC and AFC championship games?
Yeah, Detroit had 49 and so did the Packers have the 49ers should have lost that game. And Baltimore Baltimore just didn't play. They really didn't show the play, if you ask me.
How do you feel about that game, Bo? The Baltimore against Kansas City. How you feel about it?
Kansas City.
Hey, I was hurt. I was hurt because my son was hurt. He's a diehard Baltimore Ravens football game. We sat here on the couch and we watched the game together, me, him, and Mama, and we sat there and enjoyed the whole game from the beginning to the end. And we saw a lot of mistakes. We saw a lot of mistakes, and we saw a lot of opportunities left on the football field. If I had to sum it all up, to me, that's what happened. I can start from the beginning of the process, looking at the football game. From the onset, Kansas City came out, really just pushed them around. First quarter, they pushed the whole team around, offensively and defensively. Second quarter, the defense stiffened up and played pretty decent for the rest of the game. Opportunities with Flowers, the fumble at the half-yard line, and then the taunting a couple of plays before that, took the ball from the 10 to the 25. Lamar throwing the ball, triple coverage, interception, 5 seconds in the pocket, the strip sack, recovery by number 90 for Kansas City. It's a bunch of opportunities that if they had back for the very next day, if they would have had to play them again, they probably would have won the game Monday. But hey, you get one chance at it, one crack at it. You play it as a team, you win it as a team, or you lose it as a team. And unfortunately, they didn't come out and win. Kansas City deserved to win. They were the most aggressive football team. They wanted it more. Patrick Mahomes made a comment after the game. He said, "We got dogs in our locker room. Everybody dogs in the locker room." And not only that, he made this comment too. He said, "We knew that we could come on the road and win this football game. We knew it." So Kansas City was up for it. And, hey, give them the props. They played good. But, hey, Baltimore, they could have done some things different. The outcome probably could have been a little different on their end if they would have took care of business at home, but they didn't. So, Lamar, look forward to another year.
Kelsey is a beast, man.
He said Kelsey is a beast, Bo.
Yeah, football is not the same as it used to be. Football is not the same as it used to be. 15 years ago, you couldn't pay an offensive player every play to go out there and push around people on defense. I'm here to tell you, somebody probably would have tore one of his thigh pads, or he would have had to get a new shoulder pad or something. Because at the end of the day, with football, if you're on offense, you take hits, and if you're out there pushing people around throughout the whistle, trust me, when a defensive player get a chance to lay the wood to you, they're gonna do that. So football has changed tremendously now. It's not the same anymore.
Yeah, cause he probably would have given you right. He probably would have been getting a new helmet.
He couldn't have done that against Ray Lewis, Baltimore Ravens. I'm here to tell you that he couldn't have done that then. There's no way around it.
No.
0%.
Well, I remember the time when Ray Lewis snatched the ball from Eddie Jordan and ran it all the way back.
Yeah, but I will say this about Travis Kelce. Hey, he wanted it more. You got to give him his props. He wanted it more. He played hard.
You know why? Because, Taylor was there watching, you know what I'm saying? His
There you go.
Taylor, Swift was there watching, so, he had to show up for his girl, you know what I'm saying? Who show up more for the girls, you know what I'm saying? And he had to show up for his girl. His girl was there, so, he had to, stake his leg up and, show up for his girl. What's up, Tony?
You know they say she was out there distracting Baltimore.
she was Taylor was distracted. Hey, that's wild. Taylor's distracted Baltimore is wild. I think at the end of the day, though, I think you have to make sure that people. I don't want to take away from what this is really about, and what this is really about for me is, and y'all could disagree with me all day. But what this is about for me is, it's the fact. What it is for me is the fact that Lamar Jackson didn't get done, right? The fact that Lamar Jackson did not get
They
it done.
always say he always crank on the pressure.
Right. And I made a statement on Facebook, on social media, and people were looking at me like I was crazy when I made the statement. And I said, Lamar Jackson is worse than Dak Prescott. And people were like, what? Huh? What? How do you say that? How can you say that? I say, listen, man, Lamar Jackson has played in 4 playoff games, with 6 playoff games. He's 2-4. Listen to me now.
I agree with you.
What? Okay, all right, thank you. And let me tell you why, Bo. Let me tell you why, Antonio and Bo. Let me tell you why. Lamar, before I give you my point, Bo, you agree with that?
Well, a lot of people has this enigma about Lamar Jackson with a 2-4 playoff record, that he's not a successful playoff quarterback because, hey, you look at it from a physics point of view. The football travels faster in the air than on the ground in somebody's hands. And if you're going to be a quarterback, you're going to win a Super Bowl. Those are the things that you got to learn how to master, how to put the football where it needs to be in the air, because it'll get the job done a whole lot quicker. I think he'll go back to the drawing board and work on that. But, yeah, that's something he has to work on. He had a good year overall throwing the football, but in tight spots. Kansas City put some pressure on him. But as far as Lamar Jackson not being able to get it done in the playoffs, he has to legitimately, definitely now, show everybody that he can. Because, yeah, King, that statement is out there that he can't get it done in the playoffs.
I just don't see Lamar Jackson. Go ahead.
He needs to get more. He needs to get more mature, but he play more like a kid out there.
Hey, that's a good point, because I look at it like this. If you're a quarterback and you're trying to get to the Super Bowl, you just signed a $240 plus $1 million contract. You must be a leader in that locker room. You must control the room. Everybody must be attentive when you talk. If you ask me, I can easily say that Roquan Smith is probably the leader. I can easily say that. Number 0 is the leader of the football team. I can say that and get away with it.
Out. He played out his mind.
Yeah, he's more passionate at the beginning of the game before the kickoffs. Everybody's huddled around him while he's talking. So, I want to see Lamar take that leadership, but that doesn't mean the end result is going to be the same. But I want to see Lamar take that leadership, and at the end of the day, the effort from others may be a little bit different.
All right, hey, Antonio, man, we thank you for calling in. I got another caller calling in. We thank you for calling in, Antonio. Thank you for calling in, brother. All right, bro.
Take care, brother.
Hello, we got a good call on the line. Who's this?
Yo, it's Rock, man.
Rock, you don't call me. You got Antonio come back and come there. Rock, what you got to say about the Lamar Jackson situation, real quick?
So, I mean, I didn't hear it. Rich, I would call you for the other members, but at the end of the day, you never did pick up. But I didn't hear the conversation about it, man. At the end of the day, like I said, play.
All right, he said he's trash. All right, thanks, Rob. I got other people calling in and trying to get everybody in the lines, okay? All right, man, the phone lines are crazy tonight, bro. They're ridiculous tonight.
That's what we want. Let's roll. Let's roll.
Keep calling in. You can call in. The number is 478-569-6110. The number again is 478-569. You can see it right here at the top of the screen. 6110. Be a part of the King Bo Show. Right now, we're talking about Lamar Jackson's legacy and what does it mean right now. What does it mean right now? And can I have a quick little rant here, Bo?
Hey, King, let me say this right here. Let me hear what you got to say. How do you feel about Lamar Jackson and the 2-4 opportunities that lie ahead for him, or opportunities that may not? And actually the history pertaining to getting to the 2-4. How do you feel about that?
Well, let me first say this. I told you guys last week that this game is about Lamar Jackson and his legacy. And what I saw during this game, especially in the first half, played better in the second half. What I saw the first game was what I feared the most, and what I kept trying to tell people at the beginning of the year when I said, I don't know if Baltimore knows if Lamar Jackson's that guy. You know what I'm saying? I said, they're kind of holding out because they said, hey, we can't really get rid of him. He's a seasoned talent, but when it comes to possibly winning the Super Bowl, I don't know if he's that guy. Peter Parker said, Peter Parker, Spider-Man is watching our show. Shout out Peter Parker. What's up, Peter Parker?
Yeah, That's Manuel. That's Manuel. That's my guy. Hey, Manuel, what's up, buddy? Hey, man, thank you for checking in, brother. Give us a call, man. Call into the show, Manny.
Manny calling phone lines are over 478-569-6110. King Bo Show, man. We thank you guys for calling in. It's been a crazy show. Calls, phone lines have been crazy. We appreciate you guys. We want to thank you guys. Bo, I think we're closing in on about 20,000 viewers watching the show, man. So that's an amazing feat for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think next show maybe this show we'll probably hit 20,000 this show. So we appreciate
That's awesome.
that feat of us doing it and starting to do it. So we appreciate everybody. Everybody calling 478-569-6110. We're talking about Lamar Jackson's legacy after this loss this weekend against Kansas City. And the reason I said I made the statement, he said that's a tough statement. Lamar Jackson is worse than playoff Dak. And we got to start calling him playoff Lamar, right? So playoff Lamar is not the same as in-season Lamar. It's not the same person. The MVP, Lamar Jackson, the MVP, did not show up in this last game. The superstar quarterback Lamar Jackson did not show up. Now, how can you possibly say Lamar Jackson is Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott has only won 2 games out of 7. So Dak Prescott's 2-5, right? 2-5 with a 91.1 quarterback rating and 14 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That's Dak Prescott's numbers in his playoff series, in the playoff game. I always say we kind of give that a hard time, you know what I'm saying? And some of them are fluctuated because of the last game with the garbage yards and points that he got last time. But that's really his numbers over 7 games. 91 quarterback rating, 14 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. When you look at Lamar Jackson and his 2-4 record, Bo, what you think his quarterback rating is?
Well, let me just say this. I can go back and reiterate some of the games that I've actually seen Lamar Jackson play in with this 2-4 record. Last year, he skipped the playoff game because he said that he had an injury that had already been out for 6 weeks and then come back to play, an injury without surgery at that. And this is a playoff game. So he laid out for Baltimore last year because of contract situations and injury. The year before that, Lamar Jackson had an opportunity to beat Buffalo, and Lamar Jackson had an opportunity to tie the game up in the fourth quarter. He threw a pick 6 at the 1-yard line. DB took 99 yards the other way, scored a touchdown, and sealed the deal for Buffalo, a game that Baltimore was actually swinging the momentum to probably win. So he hurt him that year. So that's 2 straight years. And the year before that, from my understanding, I think he had like 1 or 2 picks and had like 9 to 15 incompletions and took 7 sacks in his first playoff game. He was a no factor, threw for almost under 100 yards. It was very detrimental to see a player out there in the playoffs performing that poorly. That was his first playoff game. Then the second one down there near the interception at the end zone cost him. He sat out last year, and now this year played decent, had opportunities, but he made mistakes in this game as well. What I'm looking for is to see Lamar Jackson as a premier quarterback get into a big-time ball game, not regular season, deep into the playoffs, and be mistake-free. That's what I'm looking for. That's what we haven't seen.
And that's been the stats that I was looking at, Bo. The big stats I was looking at for the situation is this. Lamar Jackson has a 79 quarterback rating, which would be a bottom of the barrel quarterback rating in the NFL right now. He'd be in the lower 20-something quarterbacks. He'd be in the lower section of the quarterback when it comes to quarterback ratings in the season. And he had 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
So, King, I heard a conversation in the AFC Championship game based on from the broadcasters, commentators, to Steve Spagnuolo, who was the defense coordinator for Kansas City. So he made a comment to them, I want to say a couple of days or a day before the game, and they asked him, they said, what is your key to keeping Lamar Jackson under wraps? How are you going to be able to prevent him from going crazy on the football field, running up and down the football field, throwing deep passes, getting the crowd into the game, and blowing you guys out of this football stadium? Because he's going to be the MVP. He's performed well throughout the regular season. How are you going to keep him up on the wraps? This is how he answered that. He basically said that he has a plan based on his defensive scheme to make Lamar Jackson run left to right, east and west. So if you look at it from a math standpoint, if you got a quarterback, if he's going east and west, then that means that the receivers are not open anymore. They've broken their routes. Also, if he's going east to west, you typically think he's going to try to force the ball somewhere to where you can easily get an interception. So he was trying to force Lamar Jackson into mistakes. So that tells me that he went back and looked at all the other playoff games and saw how he underperformed and probably used the same schemes against him. And at the end of the day, it worked.
Tonio said, I think Lamar Jackson would be gone soon. Ooh, that is tough. That is tough. I don't know. He just signed a new contract, so I think he has a little leverage. I think he has a little time. But it goes to our next topic, Bo, and it goes to our next topic. And I call it the Pat Mahomes effect. And will Lamar, and we're going to go ahead and put it all in since we're here now, will Lamar or Josh Allen, who both are incredible regular season quarterbacks, will Lamar or Josh Allen ever win a Super Bowl?
You know what, King? That is a tough question. And people, if you're out there listening, if you're texting in or you're calling in, that's a valid question because you got Patrick Mahomes in the same age group as these guys. You got to be able to beat Patrick Mahomes in order to get there. Hey, the studies has shown, it's proven, the dot chart has shown us that if you want to get to the Super Bowl after week 17, you got to peak over Kansas City because if Kansas City make it to the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes just need a wild card entrance. He don't have to be the number 1 seed. He proved that by being the number 3 seed this year. He can go on the road and win. That was a question. As long as Patrick Mahomes is dropping back, throwing the ball with his right hand, scrambling to the left, throwing it out of bounds with his left hand, prevent the sack, Patrick Mahomes is going to be there. Now, what can be a formula, an element that could cause Patrick Mahomes some problems? Andy Reid retires. Now, then that can open up the door for Lamar or Josh if Andy Reid retires. But if they replace him with Bieniemy as the head coach, then everything's pretty much going to stay the same or may even get better. But for right now, Lamar and Josh, oh, man, I don't know if you guys are going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon, but I can guarantee you there's some people that take the microphone at 1 o'clock on CBS and 4 o'clock on CBS. I guarantee you they won't Josh to win a Super Bowl, but we're going to see how it goes. That's going to be interesting to see. I don't think they'll get one no time soon. But you know what? I can go out and say I think one of those guys will probably never win a Super Bowl. At least one of them. I can say that at least one of them. I don't think both of them will.
So you think at least you think that one of them will not? Why do you say that?
Well, I think if anybody out of the two that won't win a Super Bowl, I believe it's going to be Josh because Buffalo is a small market football team, for one. They can't afford to pay a lot of players because they do have money on their salary cap, but they're one of the teams that hardly ever go over. So they try to develop their own talent. It's a small-scale city. And on top of that, right now, their formula is not working. If you take a look at it, number 14 is getting older. Both of their safeties are in their 30s now. Along with that, they continue to change offensive, defensive coordinators. And, hey, let's be optimistic. Pretty soon, if McDermott don't continue to win playoff games, he's going to be on the cusp. He must continue to win the AFC East in order to keep his job, but that's going to be difficult next year because you got the Jets going to have Aaron Rodgers over there, and they're going to play for Aaron Rodgers, so they're going to be very competitive against them. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Basically, Buffalo could have a lot of turnover within the next 2 to 3 years, and I think that's one of the keys that will probably detriment Josh Allen because I think pretty soon number 14 is going out. If you take a look at Diggs' numbers, the second half of the year, Stephon Diggs only had like 2 or 3 touchdowns and only caught for like 65 to 70 yards a game for the last half of the year. And if that continues next year, then Josh Allen is going to have to take on a more aggressive role, scrambling, running the ball on 3rd and 5, 2nd and 6, like he did this year in the second half in order for them to be successful. And that puts him in the way for an opportunity to be injured because the quarterbacks run more, they're more injury prone. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes with Buffalo. And I think Josh Allen will be that guy who may not get one.
He said, both says Josh Allen may not get one, but Peter Parker, Spider-Man says Lamar is getting one stamp. You know, Lamar's getting one stamp. Peter Parker, don't forget you can call that man. Phone line is open, you guys. 478-569-6110. 478-561. I can't say it, Jesus. 569-611-0. I think I agree with you totally. I think with Patty Mack being there, it's gonna be hard for them guys to get the chip. And Patty Mack is showing himself to be more the Michael Jordan of football right now. He's the Tom Brady, right? How many players didn't win Super Bowls because Tom Brady was hosting up the Lombardi Trophy every other year, right? And I think Patty Mack is that same person, and he may even catch Tom Brady. And I think he's really that's really his goal is to catch Tom Brady with the Super Bowls. And I think if Patty Mack is there, it seems like or just like Jordan, you had Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, all these great players, Glenn Rice, all these great players at that time that couldn't get over the hump, because Jordan was there. And I think this is the same thing with Lamar and Josh. When you sit there and you see Patty Mack there and you see, hey, every year I got to go through Patty Mack, that's going to be a tough sell and a tough call for people to be like, all right, I got you, or they're going to win. I really, 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 really think it's going to be tough for Lamar to get a championship. I think it's going to be even tougher for Josh to get a championship. I'm going to be honest with you, though, Bo. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Y'all not going to like what I'm about to say, but it's true. I think Josh Allen has a better chance of beating Patty Mack than Lamar has.
I don't know.
Josh Allen has played right there with Patty Mack, and it just so happened Patty Mack has got the ball the last couple of got the ball.
I don't know. The NFL changed the rule for Josh Allen. I can't say he's nowhere near on the level with Mahomes, and this is why. So the playoff game, whoever gets the football first, you score a touchdown, the ball game is over. You kick a field goal, the ball game is over. If you take a look at it, that rule was changed just because so many people complain. I want to see Josh Allen with the football to see what he could have done in that game. He didn't get an opportunity to get the football because the NFL rule was where it stood at that time. So they changed the rule just for him to have an opportunity to see how he would match up in overtime with Mahomes. However, you've played Mahomes in a playoff game. You can't say you didn't get what you want, Allen. You had it. You was at the house. In your environment, you couldn't hold on. You couldn't beat them. Kansas City won. People are not talking about Kansas City defense. Their defense has stepped up. The defense have not given up 28 points a game all year. Kansas City defense is tough, and they are out there laying the wood, and their offense is scoring touchdowns, and their chatterbox is emphatic to each other on the sideline about continuing to exert the aggressiveness to be active and get the job done on an offense and defensive standpoint. Kansas City is playing real physical football right now. They're plowing football teams up. They're moving them up and down the grass. I got to give them credit for that. They are. But Peter Parker, Manny, my dog, I will say this. If anybody could beat Patrick Mahomes, that number 15 in red, trust me, I'm with you on this. It would be Lamar next year. But Lamar, they've got to go get it, and they got to play up to that type of intensity because Kansas City came out the gate, and I mean, they just pushed them around. But now they know what it is, so they got to step up to the plate next year.
No way. I have Lamar and beating Patty Mack. I think Josh Allen has shown a propensity to go toe-to-toe and not be scared and to step up and actually match Patty Mack and actually be able to play on par with Patty Mack. I have not seen that yet from Lamar Jackson, 0%. We have not seen Lamar at all be able to sit there and every time, it really does seem like right now, Bo, it seems like the lights get too bright for Patty and get too bright for Lamar. And I told you at the beginning of the year, I said at the beginning of the season where he's going through this contract thing, I said, I think the organization, Baltimore's organization is in a hard predicament because he's such a talent and such a great regular season quarterback, but he has not gotten to the point where he's matured where you can say, hey, I can trust this guy to take me to the Super Bowl. And that's being the knock. And I said it from the beginning. I said that's the difference between him and the Jalen Hurts. I said it from the beginning. That's a difference between him and the Patty Mack. That's the difference that you see as you can say, hey, man, what's up, Lamar? The regular season, great. When you get the playoffs, you're looking like Julius Randle out there in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you get the playoffs, you disappear on me, Lamar. What is that about? We need you to be Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. And, instead of being Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, he turns to Desmond Ridder. And we can't have that happen, Lamar. We cannot have that happen to MVP two-time MVP candidate and 2 times favorite in those 2 seasons, favorite to go into the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, and both times You lay an egg. Now, do I think that his wide receiver that fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line is culpable and has a culpability for that also? Yes, I do. I do. But at the end of the day, Lamar, this is on you. I told you at the end of the day that the organization, Baltimore organization, did something that we have to say, Bo, that's real, that that we have to agree that they did. They gave Lamar Jackson the tools. Oh, he said that's disrespectful. And it is true. You don't want to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? They gave Lamar Jackson the tools to be a Super Bowl quarterback. He had a good defense. He had they put wide receiver talent around him. He had everything to be a great quarterback and not to have an excuse not to get there. Number 1 seed, off week. We put the ball in your hand more. We're not running you as much. We got you some wide receivers. You know, we got you running backs. We got a nice offensive line. You got 2 great tight ends. You got a great defense. They held Kansas City to 17 points. Bo, 17 points. This is all of Lamar Jackson. Completely. Unequivocally. This is on Lamar Jackson. We cannot let Lamar Jackson off the. I know we love him. I know he's the quintessential black guy. I know that's my dog. I like him. He reminds us of Mike Vick. He got the swag of a young man. You know, he's a young brother. But at the end of the day, we got to call a spade and say, Bo, he lost this game. He did not show up, and he cost his team a championship. And this is the issue that we have to do. This is what I was trying to tell y'all at the beginning of the season. I was like, yo, I understand why Baltimore's dragging their feet, making him a $250 million man, because they don't think that he can bring them a Super Bowl. They really have questions if he can bring them a Super Bowl. And now, when we see Lamar Jackson right now, Bo, when we see him right now at this moment, Bo, at this point, Bo, and the way we see Lamar Jackson right now, Bo, right now, at this point, Bo, the way we see Lamar Jackson, guess what? He has gone through and he has come back and brought all those insecurities of the organization and all the insecurities of the fans, all the insecurities of the people of Baltimore, all the insecurities of the people that voted him the MVP, all the insecurities of everyone, the reporters and everybody. He's made all those insecurities and he came back and guess what he's done? He's reinforced all those insecurities, all those things to say, boy, he's a dynamic athlete, but when you need him to throw the ball, he can't make it happen. Oh, he's great in the regular season, but when the lights the brightest, guess what? Desmond Ridder. That's what he turns to, Bo. He turns to Desmond Ridder. That's what he turns to. And we can't say that about Josh Allen, because last time I saw Josh Allen play against Patty Mack, Josh Allen was balling out. He was a man, right? He's balling. He's right there with him. 2 years in a row that they had him in the championship, two games back to back, that you had Patty Mack and Josh Allen. You was like, wow, this is one of the greatest games I've seen, right? We cannot say that about Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson has to do some soul searching. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be totally 110%. Lamar Jackson got to grow the freak up. Let me put the camera on me, please, sir. Could you put the give me a solo, please? Thank you. Lamar Jackson, listen, you have to grow the freak up. I don't want to see you pouting. I don't want to see you having hissy fits on the field. I want you to lead men. You are a leader of men. You have the talent. You have everything that you have, but you're acting like an ex-gener. But you just act immature on the field. And I've seen it from point B. I don't like the way you handle yourself. I don't like the way you pout when you mess up and things don't go you out. I don't like the way you do it. Your demonstrative reactions to everything, it does not entail a leader, and it doesn't entail a personal reports. I understand you get mad. I understand that you're going off on your players. I understand you lift the standard, but you got to be a man, and you got to be a leader of man, Lamar Jackson, and I have not seen that, and until you show us that, I told you at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't have given him all the money. I wouldn't have made it all a guarantee like you did. Listen, but until you show me that, everybody has a reason to question you. We question that. Now, let me ask you, Bo. Bo, listen. Why when it comes to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, you know what I'm saying, we all on that. Oh, we got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of the quarterback. But we get Lamar Jackson a pass, right? You know why? Because it's the bro pass. It's the black people. We love Lamar Jackson. He reminds us of what's the guy? A Slash. He reminds us of that. Oh, the phone lines are going crazy right now. And I'm just saying, Lamar Jackson, get yourself together. Let's go, Bo. Let's go to the phone lines.
Yeah, let's go to the phone line.
Let's go to the phone lines. Phone lines, you open. You're calling the King Bo Show. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Who are we speaking to?
Peter Parker.
What's up, Peter?
Manny,
What up, Peter?
Manny, what's up, Manny? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man.
That's what's up. Hey, Manny, man, we got this situation going on with King saying that Lamar needs to grow up. He's immature. They should have paid him. And why everybody's giving him the bro pass instead of Dak Prescott. Manny, chime in. What's your thought on this?
Look, man, he's going in on.
Hey, Mr. Manny, can you turn your TV down or whatever you got in the background going on down some, sir? Please, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No problem.
All right, is that better?
That's excellent. Excellent. I appreciate you. Go ahead. How do you feel? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, look, my man is just going in on my guy. Hold up, man. Now you can't. Now look. Hold on, man. This because this guy's so a passion for the game. You know what I'm saying? Look. How many guys on that roster?
What's 53 man roster.
53.
Man, I mean, come on, let's be serious about this. This guy brings it every Sunday. Yeah, he's there every Sunday.
But Manny, you gotta look at this though, sir. I mean, come on, I needed to break it in. He brings it every Sunday except the playoff Sundays. The playoff Sundays, he's not breaking it. He didn't bring it last playoff Sunday. He didn't bring it. You know who brought it last playoff Sunday? Patty Mack brought it. You know who else brought it?
Let me say this about Lamar Jackson. King, you got to give him a little credit. The second half, he played a pretty good football game. The first half, he were 5 for, I want to say, 16 at one point in time. But Lamar Jackson almost threw for 200 yards in the second half. Now, I will say this. The strip sack hurt. The interception, triple coverage, those things hurt. But overall, though, he had a pretty good year.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I always compare him to Dak Prescott and say Dak Prescott is worse, because Dak Prescott threw a pick six in a heartbeat. There's no doubt about that. Dak Prescott, matter of fact, I've seen Dak Prescott throw at a guy for a pick six. He dropped the ball, throw it right back to him. The next play, he catches and running for a touchdown. So that's the difference between Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Lamar Jackson is clearly the better quarterback. So, some people develop and grow at different rates than others. I'm going to go back and take a look.
The Desmond Ritter, that's in the playoffs, that's who Lamar Jackson turns into. He turns into Desmond Ritter in the playoffs. They put the lights up, when we put Lamar Jackson under the microscope in the playoffs, Lamar Jackson has a 79 playoff rating, and he's thrown 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, and he's 2-4. Who that sound like?
Hey, man.
That's
hey, Manny,
like Ritter. That's Ritter in the playoffs, Manny.
Hey, Manny, I got a question for you. Can you hear me?
Manny, you still there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, Manny, let me ask you this question. What do you think Baltimore needs to improve on to be a good football, to win, to get over the hump next year? What do you think they need to improve on?
I think he has a delay ball.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think they need to improve on anything. Lamar Jackson needs to do. He's a talent. It's like he needs the Dion shades on when the lights are bright. You know what I'm saying? Just go do what you do. Just do what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he was like caught. Like, moments he was like a dead in headlight. Man, do what you do.
That's what I'm
You're a talent.
with me.
and it might have been the stage might have been too big for him for the first time. Give him a second chance around. Baltimore, they're going to be there next year. They're going to be there. They're going to be right there next year. Let's see how he comes through.
It's been 6 playoffs games. He's been in 6 playoffs games. Dak has been in 7. Dak has been in 7. You talking 6 playoff games to 7 playoff games, 2-4 and 2-5, right? All I'm saying is this. I mean, you can sit there and say, hey, he got to grow. I mean, how many more years you going to give him to grow there? I mean, I'm not saying throw him away because you know what, we do that a lot with African Americans. He is.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I agree. And we do that. And you know what? Let me stop. I'm going to pump the brakes because we do that a lot with African American quarterbacks. we sit there and we have somebody like what's the quarterback for Minnesota? Kirk Cousins be in the years for 20 years and ain't won.
Kirk Cousins, man, he's just a small list.
Say that again, Bo.
Kirk Cousins, oh my God, he's just a piece of the list. I mean, when you take a look at it for what it's worth, you've got so many quarterbacks, and I mean, not just Kirk Cousins. How many have held? I mean, take a look at Chase. What's the guy name? He's the backup for. He used to be the backup for the New Orleans Saints. He was quarterback for Purdue in college. Chase something, can't remember his name. Played in the league like 16 years and probably started 3 games. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the talent is not there for a lot of guys in the NFL to be successful quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson,
Chase Daniels, that's right.
Chase Daniels, yeah.
Right.
I mean, just for Lamar Jackson, just clean up a couple of things. But you got to give him, he had a good year. He actually beat the 49ers. He destroyed the 49ers in San Francisco. He destroyed Detroit in Baltimore. So both teams in the NFC Championship game, he destroyed. He just couldn't get past Patty Mack. And let's give Kansas City credit. They are an experienced football team. That football team, 75% of the starters got 2 Super Bowl rings. They know how to scheme against certain teams, and they know how to play the game, and they know how to win because they've been there and done that more than one time. So you just can't say Lamar Jackson can't get the job done. He ran up against a juggernaut now. So give Kansas City their props.
Bo, I gotta call a spade a spade. You know that I gotta call a spade a spade, Bo. I gotta call a spade a spade. Yeah, I think your son is kind of softening you up a little bit on this situation. You know what I'm saying? I think the family's softening you up. So you ain't been, because when Miami lost, they trash, get rid of everybody. Lamar Jackson didn't lose to Baltimore. You know what? We're gonna be a little bit patient. We're gonna give him a little time. We're gonna since playoff games, I've seen a lot. I think he has a chance, but I think what it's showing is, and I agree. I think Manny, I think even though you might not like the way I'm saying it, I think you're actually agreeing with me to a certain extent. He has to grow up. It's a grow up. It's time for him to grow up and lead the men to put the team on your back. Like Pat, come on.
Hey, look, you can lead the men, but you can't the men be men.
But put them on. You got to put them on your back though. Patty Mack is taking the Kansas City Chiefs, and Kansas City has a flawed team. We talked about this last week, Bo. Kansas City. This is when Coach Che was here. She even said it. This is the year that Kansas City should have been had, right? He does not have the explosiveness or the cheetah with him anymore. He's had receivers that's been dropping the balls in, which they've stepped up and they haven't dropped many during the playoff. But he's put this team and made the changes. And him, Andy Reid, you got to give props to Andy Reid and Kelsey. They've come through, and I tell you the running back too. What's his name?
Pacheco.
Pacheco's balling too. They come and they stepped up the game. All those guys has risen their game. Right. And all those guys have risen their game up to a level now where it's like, all right, we ready to go win the Super Bowl. And now they find themselves in the Super Bowl. And I'm saying that Lamar, as the leader of Baltimore, as the $250 million man, you got to do the same thing. You got to put the team on your back, and you got to take them to victory. And you didn't do that with the pick six. You didn't do that with the pouting and everything and your mannerisms. And when you're leading the team and when you're the head man, everybody's looking at you. Everybody's following your lead because you're the head man. You're the guy making $50 million, $60 million this year. I'm making $2 million. Hey, I'm following.
Hey, but why everybody got to throw the money into the mix, man?
Because it matters.
He was doing that before they gave him that money, though, right?
Right. I agree. But that's what I say. I think he was. I agree. But what I'm saying, man, is this. At the end of the day, that's why people were saying, well, Baltimore just need to give him the money. I was saying, hold up. It's the reason why Baltimore is displaying pause. It's the reason why Baltimore is saying, we're not necessarily sure if this is the guy. And what I'm saying is his play in the last playoff game reinforced those insecurities for the Baltimore organization, fan base, the writers, and everywhere else. They are reinforced those insecurities to say, is Lamar Jackson the guy?
You know what it sounds like? Y'all dropping a whole bunch of sand on this guy. This guy is just the quarterback. He doesn't run the front office too.
I don't think it's all Lamar Jackson's fault with the loss that they incurred with Kansas City.
You know what I'm saying? The talent that they put around him is part of the front office.
true.
I think they're going to have to replace Jadeveon Clown, and he proved coming off the edge that he can't even catch up and outrun Patrick Mahomes, and he's a quarterback. He's a defensive end. Kyle Vanoy is probably going to be gone at linebacker because he also proved that he couldn't get to the quarterback. Their speed and their age, those two guys show the difference on the defense, absolutely, for sure. So they're going to have to replace those two guys. I think once they replace those two guys on defense, a healthy Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, you'll probably see a little bit more of the 12 formation from them because Likely and Andrews will probably be lining up on each side of the football field at tight end. And Zay Flowers, I hate to say it, but young man, you're an exceptional talent. I just hate that you had to learn the hard way in a football game with that type of magnitude with the mistakes that he made. Actually, 2 on one possession, the 15-yard penalty and the fumble at the half-yard line. So I'm sure he grew up from that. Lamar grew up from that. I don't expect Odell Beckham to be back. He actually caught some balls in the second half, but he really was a non-factor for the game. I think they'll probably go replace him and get another wide receiver to come in to help out a little bit, maybe a more experienced veteran with the young guys. And I think Baltimore has a lot of upside. I think they're going to be a very good football team to come. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Baltimore is a very young football team as well. It's just that the quarterback is 2-4 in the playoffs. Now, does this put a lot of pressure on Lamar? Of course it does. But let's see how he handles it as a man leading this football team in 2024. That is the most interesting part. That's the most interesting part, how he handles the pressure.
All right. We thank you, Manny, for calling in. Hey, Manny, we also appreciate you for watching the show, man. Thank you for calling in and watching the show, man. Very much appreciated, Doctor.
All right, man. No doubt, man.
All right, peace.
Hey, Manny, we'll see you tomorrow, brother. Be safe out there.
All right, will do, man.
All right, bet it up.
All right. Phone lines 478-569. Man, Bo, they be calling in, man, coming in. Y'all really emotional about this Lamar. I can't believe y'all do this about Lamar like that, man. Y'all making excuses for the brother.
I like Lamar as a quarterback, man. I just need for Lamar to tighten up a little bit with the football. I think if he do that, I think he's an exceptional quarterback.
Lamar Jackson,
I think he'll live and learn. Is it going to be? Is either or?
Yeah, he is. Listen, Lamar Jackson is he's playoff P when he gets to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? he turns to playoff P when he gets to the playoffs, and it ain't a good look at all. You know what I'm saying? I think he has to mature. You know, I know y'all try to say it's not his fault. The defense held Patty Matt to 17 points. Your team scored 10. Who we gonna look at in that? We're gonna look at the quarterback. I'm gonna look at the quarterback. The average points per game was 27.7 points a game this year in the NFL. Your team scored 10 in the playoff game in the conference finals. Your team scored 10. You didn't show up. This is all I said. And I said it. I told you. I said, I'm rooting for him. But if this happens, it all falls on his shoulder. And now, to be honest with you, Bo, I don't think Lamar Jackson will ever win a Super Bowl. That's me personally. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Let me say it. I hope I'm wrong. But as long as that number 15 is in Kansas City, I don't. And you gotta forget, Burrow's coming. What's the quarterback from Houston? The rookie from Houston? He's coming. Stroud is coming. We're gonna see what Watson does in Cleveland. You know, it doesn't get easier for Lamar. It gets a little bit tougher. So we're gonna see what happens. All I know is the people in Baltimore, and what I'm hearing in the people in Baltimore, you hear this too. It's a lot of questions of a lot of players saying, "Is he that guy?"
We're gonna find out. Only time will tell.
When we come back, we'll talk about Atlanta Falcons. Good people. Atlanta Falcons fans are good people, Bo. Good people. They're the smartest fans in the world. Really. Really good people. We'll talk about the Falcons coming back next. Right here on the King Bo Show.
I don't know viewers.
In the relentless rain, a saga unfolded. The Atlanta Falcons, facing the 1-12 Carolina Panthers, spiraled into a new abyss. Final score, a meager 9-7. The crowd's roars drowned in the downpour, echoing the team's recurring nightmares. In the virtual stands of Twitter, the fans unleashed their storm. Coach Arthur Smith and quarterback Desmond Ridder, once the beacon of hope, now stood in the eye of the tempest. their ship adrift in a sea of discontent. And so, the Falcons' tale continues, a narrative of hope, despair, and the unyielding spirit of football. Stay tuned, dear listeners, for the next chapter.
Back on next week, right?
Yeah, we'll be on next Wednesday at 7.
Okay, then I'll hit you back up then.
Well, let me ask you this right here. Now, we can share the screen now. If you want to come on live, we can do that.
Hello, this is Reba Green here, owner of the Great Green Store, and I would like for you to tune in to the Unnamed Sports Show with King and Bo every Wednesday.
All right, bet it up.
Okay.
All right.
DJ B.I.G. Show me the list. Everybody talking about they the best. Everybody talking about us. B.I.G. walking the God we trust. As long as our names listed in the book, we good. Show me the list. Show me the list.
Welcome back to the King Bo Sports Show. Boy, that was a spirited debate. So, call it in. That Super Bowl is a big situation. We'll come back to the Super Bowl in a second. We'll talk about the Super Bowl again in a second. We'll make our predictions at the end of the show. We'll make our predictions of who we have winning at the end of the show. But now, Bo, we talked a little bit about what happened and some big news that happened out of Atlanta that just came up last weekend, where Atlanta Falcons made a head coaching hire, and it's not who we thought it was going to be. Go ahead, Bo. Go ahead and elaborate on that for me.
Bill Belichick wanted too much control. That's just the bottom line. Front office personnel were afraid that he was going to change them out with a bunch of people from New England, and he wanted to be the GM. He wanted to go ahead and order the ingredients and cook the cake. And Rich McKay is the president of the Atlanta Falcons, along with Arthur Blank as the owner. And they were not willing to give up those types of duties to him, and rightfully so, because he's coming from a team who has been not relevant within the past 4 years. So why should you give up those rights to somebody who hasn't proven that they could be successful without Tom Brady as the quarterback? At the end of the day, Belichick is a great coach. I think he's still trying to coach because he wants that record. He's not far from Don Shula's all-time winningest head coach record, and I don't blame him. If you're a statistical guy, that's what you want. But at the end of the day, you got about 6 Super Bowl rings, so you can call it a day and you're still going to the Hall of Fame. But Atlanta chose Raheem. What's his last name?
His name is Raheem Morris.
Oh yeah, I just wanted you to say that for me. So Atlanta chose Raheem Morris as the head coach. Do I think he's a good fit? Personally, I think we'll see, because he hasn't been a winning head coach himself in other stints that he's been in. He's had some good defenses, but he has not been a good head coach, because at the end of the day, he's been an interim head coach at least a time or two, and he hasn't been successful in those stints. But let's see how it goes. I mean, they've got Terry Fontenot over there, who's the GM over there. He's an AA. Morris is an AA, African-American head coach. I just think they just hired, a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator who's an African-American as well. But the thing that gets me about this, King, is that Rich McKay is the general manager, and none of these people reports to him as the president. Nobody reports to him. That's interesting. The question is why. Everybody reports directly to Arthur Blank. So at the end of the day, it's a marketing tool. You're going to fill the seats with African Americans in Atlanta. They're going to come to the game because they're going to come see the people play, and they're going to come see the front office personnel do their thing, see who they put on the field to play. But at the end of the day, this is what I'm looking for in Atlanta. I need Atlanta to be successful with the people, with the key cogs that they've put into the play this year. Do they have the pieces? We're about to find out. Their draft is going to tell us how they think about that roster. And depending on who they draft, it's going to be interesting to see how they muster that roster. I've heard some rumors that London is on the trading block. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I've heard that rumor. Let's see how Atlanta plays this out. This is going to be interesting to see who they put up in the center. This is going to be very interesting.
Well, as we see right here, Raheem Morris is the coach for the Atlanta Falcons. And good people, man. Atlanta fans are good. Not the smartest fans in the world, but really, really good people. But yeah, they hired Raheem Morris, and I told you I thought that was a good hire. I said he was the favorite. I'm hearing that he was the favorite. We all kind of heard that. They also hired Zach Robinson, who's coming with him from L.A. They offered. They also Robinson, who's a offense coordinator. He's coached the offense his entire career, and then he hired defense coordinator Jimmy Lake as a defense coordinator who was coached with defensive backs Tampa Bay and Detroit Lions. So they round out the head coach and the coordinator's job right there with Atlanta. Now the interesting thing is that Atlanta did not hire Bill Belichick, which you alluded to earlier when you were in the segment where you were saying, hey, he wanted too much authority. And a lot of people were upset and saying, hey, they were fearful. The report, I think we talked about that on the last show. The report was a lot of people were fearful that they would lose their jobs with Bill Belichick. So a lot of people that had tenure, a lot of people that had developed a rapport in Atlanta really was against Bill Belichick because Bill Belichick has a certain way and a certain type of methodology that he uses in coaching. And a lot of people in Atlanta in the front office, this is more a front office thing than it was a player thing. A lot of people in the front office and in the building were not comfortable with Bill Belichick getting that hire. So they went with Raheem Morris, who comes back to Atlanta. If I'm not mistaken, he comes back to Atlanta. Is that true, Bo? I think he comes back to Atlanta.
Yeah, he's had a stint there before. Yeah.
Right. He's a defensive coordinator, and he comes back to Atlanta. And I think it's a great hire. It's a good hire. Now, what I'm hearing in the rumblings is they're in talks with trying to get Russell Wilson. How much that works and how that does not work, I don't know. But I'm hearing that's the rumblings I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Denver's looking to get the Tulane quarterback, which I told you. I called that. I called it. The rumors were that they're trying to get Tulane's quarterback, to draft Tulane's quarterback in the draft and to make a move from Russell Wilson from Denver to Atlanta. Now I don't know how I feel about that, because let's talk about the big issue with that with Russell coming to Atlanta is that's Sierra's whole time. You know what I'm saying? That's Sierra's
More than anything, Future's hometown.
and Futures, right? That's Future City too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's Future Sierra's hometown. So we don't know how that's gonna play out with Russell going to Atlanta. So I don't know if that's necessarily a great place for Russell to be. I don't know if I'm going for that. Atlanta does have a nice young core, a nice young core of players. When you talk about Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts on the offensive side, and then Morrison, being a young guy himself, 37-year-old, having the opportunity to relate to a lot of these younger players. So it could work. I think, that's what Spider-Man said. I would call Spider-Man Peter Parker. So that's what Spider-Man said. He said it could be a good fit, and I agree. It definitely could work, and that could be something that could be an interesting dynamic. If I'm Atlanta, though, I'm drafting. Now, if I get Russell is strictly I'm using Russell strictly as a layover for my draft pick to get some experience, right? So if I bring in Russell, that's to make sure that we keep fans interested and it's not a total rebuild, but basically he's just the tape. He's just the bridge between my current situation and my future, and I'm still taking a quarterback first round in the draft. I told you who I like. I think they should get the guy from LSU. I think he'd be a great fit for them. I've heard that the Heisman candidate is interested, and I also heard that Caleb Williams has expressed interest in coming to Atlanta. So
not only that, but I've also heard that Kirk Cousins is another name who could be traded and coming to Atlanta. So there's a lot of names out there floating around.
Kirk Cousins would be such an Atlanta thing to do. That would be, hey, if Kirk Cousins would be such an Atlanta thing to do. That would be such an Atlanta thing to do to come with Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? That would be such an Atlanta thing to do. And, he'd be just good enough for them to barely make the playoffs, but not have, not to get a top draft pick, but not, they're not a threat to win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Kirk Cousins is. He's just good enough to barely make the playoffs. He's a step below Lamar Jackson.
Hey, King. Hey.
He's a step below. He might be a step equal to playoff Lamar. You know what I'm saying? He's a step below playoff Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's Atlanta. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Hey, there's another name out there floating around too. Chicago Bears have not cemented that Justin Fields will be there next year either. They haven't cemented that, so his name is floating around in Atlanta a little bit as well.
I think that's the best case scenario for the fans, Atlanta Falcons fans. Oh, they're good people. Not the smartest fans in the world, but they're good people. Good people. For good people. The Atlanta Falcons fans, I think that's the best scenario for Atlanta Falcons fans is if Justin Fields get an opportunity, to come to Atlanta. I think that'll be my Vic 2.0. And I'm not sure Arthur Blank wants that, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure because I heard that was one of his gripes for getting Lamar, which I think he might have made a good decision on that. That's one of the gripes for getting Lamar was he felt like it was too close to being Michael Vick 2.0. I think Justin Fields kind of puts him in that same vein. A run first dual threat quarterback that's exciting. Yeah. You don't really believe. I don't really believe what Peter Manny. I don't believe what. No, I don't believe what. No, I think Justin Fields will be. I think that's the fans will like Justin Fields. That would be for the fans. If he got Justin Fields, that would be super exciting too. With Kyle Pitts, London, Bijan Robinson, Justin Fields, bro. And I think they still have Algier too. So I think
they do.
Right.
I don't think Chicago is going to let him go. But earlier after the season was over with, week 14, towards the end of the season, I think that his name was floating around a little bit. Here's another thing to watch for. This is something that's under the radar. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett. Pickett was injured. Rudolph played in the playoffs on the road against Buffalo. I think they got an issue over there in Pittsburgh. Next year, I think one of those quarterbacks has the right to earn that position in preseason. And the question with Pittsburgh is, I don't think they know who. So they could get rid of one of those quarterbacks. One of those quarterbacks could be on the trading block.
Well, I mean, the issue with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. You know the big problem with the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers issue. They just hired. You know who they just hired? Arthur Smith.
Talking about offensive coordinator? Yeah.
As offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I was like, oh. It's like being a Falcons fans. Come on. They're good people. That's fans in the world. Good people. But come on now. Oh, man. I was like, why? Why? All these talented offensive coordinators and minds out there, and you got Arthur Smith that could not find an identity as a head coach for his football team. He didn't know whether it was a running team or passing team, and whether they was going to run the spread offense, and they were going to run the West Coast quick pass offense. He had no idea what he was doing in Atlanta. And I don't understand why, for the world of me, Pittsburgh will make that coaching hire to get Arthur Smith as a head coach. So you're right. It's going to be interesting, but I don't think the Steelers hiring, I don't know what Mike Tomlin was thinking. Them hiring Arthur Smith is the greatest move for the Steelers to make in the world. I don't think that's the greatest move.
Sounds like he wants to run the football 6 out of 10 plays. Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what he's about to get from an offensive coordinator standpoint.
I don't know. That's that recycle. He's still living. Arthur Smith's still living off the Ryan Tannehill situation. The success he had with Ryan Tannehill, where they had King Henry that was really carrying the load, but Ryan Tannehill
absolutely
was doing things. So I think that's the issue with that. I think that's a ridiculous hire. But that's the NFL. They recycle more than having recycled quarterbacks. We recycle coaches and coordinators and everything else in the NFL more than anything. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
It definitely was an eyebrow raiser by him landing the job in Pittsburgh because he wasn't successful in Atlanta as a head coach, and he was mediocre with points per game as an offensive coordinator over there in Tennessee.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be interesting. And let's be honest, Tannehill did well, but he, Arthur Smith did not foster a franchise quarterback there. Tennessee now still is looking. They hoping that was it Drew Lock. They're hoping that Lock is the guy, but no, it's not like a.
It's the kid
Is
from
it?
Kentucky,
Yeah, the kid from Kentucky. I forgot his name, but they're hoping that he's
Levis. Levis.
Levis, Drew Levis, right? They're hoping that's a lot. Drew Levis, they hoping that he's the guy, but Arthur Smith could not manufacture a stability at the quarterback position. It's just he was lucky that he had King Henry, and King Henry was running like King Henry run, which leads me. Don't be surprised if the Cowboys is in the King Henry sweepstakes. Just a little tidbit
Well,
of
I actually think they need him. They needed a power back. I said it last year. They needed a 1-2 punch. I like Pollard, but Pollard is a smaller back. Last year, he coming off of a broken leg. They need a power back, somebody who can push a yard here and there to take a little bit of stress off not only Pollard but also off of the offense in general. They've got a strong offensive line. Put a good power back there every once in a while to get a yard or two on third and short and make it easier for the offense to keep the chains moving. They need a power back. He'd be a great fit there. A great fit.
I'm gonna tell you something for Baltimore. This is for the Baltimore fans. I was hard on Lamar. But I will say this: Odell Beckham is leaving. If I'm Baltimore, I'm looking very, very deeply into Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is in the final year of his contract, and of his rookie deal. He's gonna be looking for a big payday, and I'm pretty sure Minnesota's gonna be probably trying to dump him, especially if they're going to be reloading and retooling their offense, depending on what happened with Kirk Cousins, who just came off a guaranteed contract. Unbelievable. But yeah, Justin Jefferson. If I was Baltimore, I'd be looking for Justin Jefferson. That'd be a player that would be on my radar, ready to go with Baltimore. Just a tad bit. Just a tad bit.
I can pretty much say this, and I know this is far out there, but if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm trying to go to Kansas City to play with Mahomes.
I would too. Because you probably go win the Super Bowl. You're going to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I would too. But that money, man. I'm telling you, that money is serious.
The only thing you got to do is go to Kansas City and play good football. You're on a State Farm commercial. That's all you got to do. Play decent football, you're there. But, at the end of the day, he'll be a great fit in Baltimore too. He'll be a great fit with Lamar. At the end of the day, if they could get him the ball the way how he needs it, he's going to put up 200 yards games. Justin Jefferson is a phenomenal talent. I would love to see him have an opportunity to play into the playoffs, deep into the playoffs for a run at a Super Bowl. He has made some of the most eye-exuberant catches I've ever seen. This guy is a special talent, a future Hall of Famer if he stays healthy. And, yeah, I would love to see him somewhere with Kansas City or Baltimore. He'd be a great fit. But teams that have a lot of money on the salary cap are the only teams that can afford a Justin Jefferson, unless you trade for a lot of draft picks.
I think this is. I want to go back to the Atlanta Falcons one thing too, and we talked about it in length last week, and I want to talk about it again this week. Also, I still hear that Dak is in the play to go to the Falcons. I'm hearing that there's some snags between Dak restructuring his contract with the Cowboys and possibly they moving off of that. I think it would be a mistake, but I think give him one more year. You're gonna bring back. You done bought back Big Slob McCarthy. But Big Slob one more year. Give that one more year. Give him one more shot. But I'm hearing that it could be something working where it's a draft pick and some other things going on from the Falcons, where there's some interest and possibly moving off of them. We'll see what happens. That'll be an interesting dynamic that happens if that happens. I don't see it happening. I give it about a 15% chance of it happening, but it is an interesting dynamic, and I don't know how Atlanta will feel. I think Atlanta would be an instant playoff contender if they got Dak Prescott as the quarterback. I just think.
Honestly, King, from a financial standpoint, if you're Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the Dallas Cowboys, and you're already $20 million over the salary cap before you even get rid of or cut any players or draft any players, this is the problem. If you got a marquee player that's about to be making $49 and $50 million per year and you're $20 million over, of course, you don't have to give him all that money at one time. But at the end of the day, if he's not willing to restructure to help you out to get up under the salary cap so you can afford to sign your draft and other players that you need to retain, of course, there's going to be some interest to trade him just to get something out of him. Because if that's the case, then they have no choice but to trade Dak. And honestly, I don't think it would be a bad solution if Dak decided to leave the Dallas Cowboys. I think they could gamble with Trey Lance as backup, coming in, learning the system, getting a fresh start next year. But they're going to need to get him a good running back behind Pollard, which could be somebody like King Henry. But yeah, I think Dak will probably be on the move, and I think that will save the Cowboys some money, and I think they can go get some more pieces that they need to be successful if they trust Trey Lance enough to be that guy next year.
Well, the issue is this. Jerry Jones has not committed to extending Dak Prescott.
I agree with him.
And
I agree with him.
I understand it, but I think too, the narrative of that saying trade me is being pushed. It started with his brother saying trade me. Now other people are saying trade. We got to get ready to get out of here. We got other people saying trade me, but this is what I'm hearing. Listen, Dak is saying this, and you kind of have to. Dak is saying, listen, I'm an All Pro. I was an MVP candidate. I led one of the top offenses in the league. I was a top 5 quarterback. I'm playing to the status of my contract. Why should I take a cut? And when you look at it like that, and you look at I won the NFC South. We won 12 games this year. I'm a top 5 quarterback in the league. My numbers show it. Even though we lost, I threw 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. All those things. He's sitting there saying, why should I take a pay cut? Why? Why should I pick up? Your defense gave up what? 40-something points. Why should I take a pay cut? But Dallas has to make some decisions because you got Michael Parsons that's still on this rookie contract. You got the wide receiver CD Lamb that's still on his rookie contract. You got those guys still on their rookie contract, and I think they get to pick up Michael Parsons' options this year. On both of them, I think you definitely pick up an option on Michael Parsons this year. You pick up the option on CD Lamb next year, right? So you got 2 players that's going to demand top money. DeAndre Bland contract's going to be up. He's going to be off his rookie contract. Stephon Gilmore, we got to decide what they're going to do with Stephon Gilmore. And I told you, the craziest contract, the most ridiculous contract is Terrence Steele it's not that the real issue isn't Dak Prescott. The real issue is Terrence Steele. And that's what I want to tell people. Terrence Steele's contract is mammoth. He's making 5 years, $82 million with a $15 million signing bonus, $50 million guaranteed, and he's gonna count $16 million against the cap this year. $16 million. That's not a Dak problem. That's a horrible contract for a mid-tier right tackle.
You know what type of problem that really is, though, King?
What's that?
That's the owner being the GM, being the president, when the owner should have a buffer. When you have somebody who's an owner, president, and GM, you let your emotions get into your decisions. If you have an owner and then you've hired a GM, then there's somebody who can say, hey, look, maybe we may not need to go this route. So he's inflated contracts. He make all the decisions himself. He's the owner, president, GM. If you're going to make those decisions, you can't make them off emotions, but you got to make them off of sheer talent. And that's been a big problem in Dallas. To me, the owner, GM, president, that colossal, that formula, that organizational chart, it is a complete failure because you are the head of everything. He is probably one of the only NFL teams that's structured that way. Now, you may have some that are GMs and some that are head coaches. But as far as all three, that's too many job responsibilities for one person. It's called work-life balance. You only get 8 hours pretty much to sleep. You can't sit there and do everything, a one-man show, managing a franchise that's worth billions of dollars. You need more help.
Well, that's crazy because at the end of the year, Terrence Steele is going to cost Dallas $20 million and dead cap space next year. $20 million. So they can't cut him. They cut him $11 million, gone. So they got to cut him. So they're going to really, really have to sit and find out some things to do. Bo, I appreciate you, man. It's 9 o'clock. I told you hard stop at 9. Man, this show's crazy.
Hey, I told you hard stop at 9.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. coming out. Listen, the show's been crazy. Thank you to all the callers. All the callers. Call us back next week. We'll be back to talk more. Man, this time flew by. I had a blast. Bo, I appreciate you as usual. Listen, one of the big things that happened this weekend, and we didn't get our special guest. Hopefully they'll come on next week. The one thing that happened this weekend was Jade Cargill. To all my wrestling fans, my WWE fans, Jade Cargill was at the Royal Rumble, and it was amazing. The response was amazing, and her showing up and picking up Big Nia Jackson, throwing over the ring was awesome. And both she looks so good. I told my wife she might be the only woman I leave her for. You know what I'm saying? But she's married to the former Cincinnati Red baseball player. So, but Jade Cargill, congratulations. And that means a lot for the popularity of a black woman and a predominantly white male-dominated sport of sports entertainment of WWE. For her to have that type of engagement, the excitement following her. And then with her and Bianca Belair, who both amazing. Oh my God, amazing! My whole body was like Macho Man. Oh yeah! It was when they face, I was like Macho Man. When those two got together, but what it means to black women in the culture of professional wrestling is monumental. Jade Cargill, thank you. Bo, real quick, Bo's business of the week.
I don't have one this week. Actually, the person that was going to be on the show was supposed to be the person to present the business of the week, but it didn't come through, so maybe next week. Updated next week. Cheryl Smith, she has her own business, so we'll do the business of the week next week.
All right, so make sure you guys look out for Du Jour coming out February 12th. February 13th, my wife's birthday. Oh, I messed up. February 13th, my wife's birthday. Du Jour. The website will be up. The link will be up. You'll be able to get the content. We're in the Du Jour button up right now. You know what I'm saying? The Du Jour button, I'm wearing one right now. Hey, listen, it'll be out on the website. Look up for DuJour.com. I thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for watching. Listen, remember, if it starts off right, you keep it right. It'll always be right. Thank you, Quentin T. But what you got to say last?
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of this week. It's hump day. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there. King, I want to say something real quick. One of my friends passed away the other day. His name is Chris Taylor. Real good guy. Very good guy. Not just a good friend, but a very, very nice human being, nice person. My condolences to the Taylors. I've been knowing them since I was a kid. Miss Betty, I'm sorry. Life goes on. Stay strong. Always remember, ladies and gentlemen, to love means to grief. If you love something, either it's going to grieve you or you're going to grieve it. But stay strong. Have God in your heart. Peace be unto you and your family. My condolences again to the Taylor family. Much love.
To the Taylor family, condolences. Remember, time heals all wounds, man. Prayers and love and positive energy towards you and your family. To everyone that watched today, thank you. Listen, we're about to hit 20,000, man. We appreciate you guys for viewing. And listen, keep rocking with us. Keep calling in. Keep being a part of the show. Keep commenting. Listen, we love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll holler at you guys next week.
Peace.
Talking about us, we out you walking the God we trust. As long as our names is in the book, we good. Everybody talking about they the best. We the best, yes. Everybody talking about us. We out you walking the God we trust. As long as our names is in the book, we good. Yeah.